Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kalyn and today we're going to be talking about releasing pets into the wild. A few days ago, my friend Emily, who you may know as Emslilzoo, sent me a screenshot of a comment made on a video, which was very concerning. The video was about pet stores neglecting or abusing older parakeets that couldn't be sold, and this comment was telling them, well, why don't they just release them outside where they have a chance? Today I'll tell you why that's not a good idea. Releasing pets isn't uncommon. Some people want to get rid of the responsibility of owning these animals, and other people specifically go to pet stores to purchase animals to release them because they think they're some sort of savior or they're being nice to these animals and they're not. I've been thinking about how to structure this video and I've decided on putting it into 4 different categories: domestication, immunity, habitat, and invasiveness. Once you take an animal from the wild, or if they've been bred generations and generations in captivity, their fear of predatory animals is going to be taken away or minimized. As wild animals rely on this fear to survive in the wild, you are signing their death wish by releasing them. Domesticated animals are also bred to have unnatural colors. Look at field mice, for example. They're typically brown on top and white on the bottom, 2 solid colors. Domesticated mice, look at fancy mice for example, often have splotches on them. If a predator was flying over them, they would spot the domesticated mouse a lot faster than they would spot the field mouse. Some animals also have defects that makes it hard for them to survive in the wild. Some rabbits are more prone to teeth issues. Some albino animals have poorer vision than their wild counterparts. Some animals, like spider ball pythons, have neurological defects where they wouldn't be able to find food in the wild. Of course, you can find albino animals in the wild, but they're much less prevalent because they're not bred to look that way. The second point is immunity. The Sentinelese are indigenous peoples of the North Sentinel Island. I am probably mispronouncing that. I did look online to see how it was pronounced, and I'm still probably butchering it. I'm sorry, I did try my best. But the reason I'm bringing them up will make sense in a second. You may have heard of them because they recently killed a very selfish missionary who was there to convert them to Christianity. They've been separated from the rest of us for so long that they don't have the immunity to survive the diseases that we are immune to. That means any contact with them has the potential to wipe them out entirely from a disease that we carry but don't know because we're immune to it. So imagine taking a Sentinelese person and dropping them straight into New York City. Can you imagine what would happen? They would probably get sick and die very quickly. If this can happen to humans, it can happen to other animals. Your animal, if it's captive bred, has generations and generations and generations separating it from its wild ancestor. Their gut flora and immune systems aren't as developed as their wild counterpart because we are disinfecting their cages, we're cleaning their cages, we're giving them parasite-free crickets, or food, or whatever. So when you release them out into the wild, they're much more likely to die of infections, parasites, etc. than an actual wild animal would be. On the flip side, they might carry a disease or bacteria from being in captivity that wild animals don't have, and by releasing them, you might cause a severe outbreak that damages native populations. The next point is habitat. So chances are, if you own an exotic animal, you're not from their country, their climate, whatever. The plants and animals are different, the weather is different, the humidity is different, the hiding places are different. Even if you are from the same climate or area, there's no saying that your animal remembers or has the instincts to survive in the wild. Chances are they've relied on humans to provide them with things and they don't know how to do it themselves. The last point is invasiveness. If you release your animal out into the wild, the best case scenario is that they die quickly because the alternatives are that they suffer or that they thrive. And if they thrive, they're taking resources away from the native animals that need it. Invasive species are huge issues. Let's take rabbits for example. They're adorable, they're really cute, and a lot of people have them as pets. But over in Australia, they're a huge issue that are responsible for the endangerment of several plant species as well as small animals. While they weren't brought over as pets, they were brought over in the 1800s, and their population at one point went over 10 billion rabbits. They damage a lot of native vegetation as well as the herbivores that survive on it, like kangaroos. Can you imagine an Australia without kangaroos? It would be horrible, and yet with enough rabbits, that's possible. After a virus called RHDV was accidentally released, 60% of the rabbit population died. And while that's super sad for the rabbits, the population of animals that they were endangering soared. I'm talking like doubled, tripled. There was one species that their sightings went up 70-fold. And this doesn't just happen halfway across the world, it's happening right under our noses too. Look at the goldfish and plecos in American and Canadian lakes. Look at the non-native reptiles taking over Florida. In fact, pythons in the Everglades caused native rabbit and fox populations to vanish. And the number of raccoons, possums, and bobcats went down nearly 99%. So obviously this is a huge issue and it does affect other animals. So if you think that you're being kind by releasing your pet, you are not. It's also illegal and carries heavy fines. If for some reason you can't care for your animal anymore, please reach out to your local shelters and rescues who I'm sure will be happy to take the animal off of your hands. Releasing your pets into the wild is just a really sad option that will only do more harm than good. Thank you for watching this video. Please tell me in the comments if you agree with me or if you disagree. I would love to hear your opinion on this. Also, if you aren't already, you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram. My links will be in the description below, and please take this time to subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it, and I will see you next time. Yay!